Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Welcome to New Life Live. Welcome family and friends to the show. We are very glad that you're with us today. Chris Williams in for Steve Arterburn, and I'm really excited about today's show because in studio today we have both Dr. Alice Benton.
Hi, folks.
And it's been a minute since we've been on together.
It has. Maybe even a month.
It could be, yes. And Jim Burns. Hi, Jim.
Great to be with you. And Alice, I want her glasses. I just had to start putting glasses on, and she is the fashionista with those glasses right there. I'm telling you that right
I'll
now.
lend them to you later.
Okay, you got it. Okay, you got
it. I'm like, yes, for us, it's like there's Alice and then the rest of us schmucks, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And of course, on radio, people can't see that, so they're going, what are they talking about?
Exactly.
I think we need to take a photo, put it on the New Life website.
Well, they could go
Tune
to
into our YouTube
channel.
That's exactly it.
Absolutely. Well, Jim, you have had such a, from my vantage point, which is pretty good, by the way, a long and fruitful ministry and really focusing on helping people get relationally healthy in all of these areas. One of the things that we've really noticed here at New Life that is a growing challenge is maintaining close relationship in family between parent and child throughout a lifetime. What have you seen? What are you seeing of what are the unique challenges? What are the unique opportunities? What are some principles we need so that as we're raising our children or as we're relating to our children throughout our lifetime, what do we need to know?
And I'm taking notes. Go ahead.
Well, one of the things I always say to parents is really good parents oftentimes will have kids who make poor choices, and then we blame ourselves. As if our kid sneezes wrong, then it's our fault.
Yeah.
And you know what? Kids are going to make mistakes, and we're going to have to understand that. And part of, I think, raising kids, we have to have a goal. And I think the goal and strategy is to raise responsible adults, and I'm going to add who love God.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating about that is I think that's for a 5-year-old and it's for a 25-year-old to help them become responsible adults. And we parent them differently that way.
Yes.
We parent them differently when we're thinking, well, they don't not just obedient for the moment, but actually to become responsible. And it's so hard for us because, we enable dependency because we don't want them to go out on their own.
Yes.
We move them from dependence to independence. And that's not easy. It's not easy for the kids, but it's also not easy for us. When my kids didn't need me, my kids are now adults. And when they, I'm 23 years, Kathy and I were the, day-to-day parents, semi in control in the teenage years and more in control in the younger years.
Yeah.
But we went, what do we do with our life now?
Yes.
And yet you don't start that when they become adults. You start that when they're young.
Yes.
And so, I think as parents, we have to understand we can't be their best friend. Many people say this. I write about it. Rules without relationship equal rebellion. But that doesn't mean we're their best friend.
Yeah.
I was telling a young woman, I think she's about 28, and she had 2 little kids. And I said, you know what? Your kids think you're old. I didn't think she was. So you can't be their best friend.
Yeah.
Single mom, struggling with that. So already kind of struggling with some of those issues and just trying to befriend the kids. And she needed to be the mom.
Yes.
And be the parent and act like the parent.
Well, and it just reminds me of 2 things that we always try to keep in mind in our marriage and household is that we're raising 2 men who happen to be 10 and 7 right now.
Really
so we need to be appropriate to where they are, but keep in mind going back to the goal that they are becoming men. The other aspect I thought about is that there's no such thing as perfect parenting.
Right.
My best parenting will be leading them to the heart of God.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And if we keep God central and primary and do it in a fun, engaging way, so many of those other things will be the result of God being most important in their lives.
Yeah. And you said fun. And kids need to have fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Families need to have fun. We need to have fun.
Well, again, we thank you for being with us. Give us a call. We want to talk to you. 1-800-229-3000. We'll be in studio for 2 hours, and we'll be right back.
I've been struggling with a porn addiction for the last 20 years.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. They're just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. The Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
I'm 10 years out. It's really changed my whole life with my whole family.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Workshop. Now the workshop is coming to Dallas March 5th to the 6th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com.
The tools that you guys gave me really has changed me essentially in every way. I'm just so much more of a man that God wanted me to be.
1-800-NEWLIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. Again, Chris Williams, we have Jim Burns, we have Dr. Alice Benton, and we're going to help you out here today. So the first person we're going to go to is Orlando. Orlando, not in Florida, but Orlando in Anchorage, Alaska, listening on KATB. I love that we have an Alaskan with us today. Orlando, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, talk to me, man. What's going on?
So, I'm in the middle of a storm. Maybe the middle, maybe the beginning. Not necessarily sure. I have overcome sexual immoral, sexual addiction, pornography addiction. I've overcome it. It's been about 2 months. I was recent. So to start, like around 7, 8, 9 years old. I can't remember exactly. I was taken advantage of by a man, and I'm just now coming to terms. I admitted that to my wife. Years ago when I was caught up on the internet, on a fetish website, doing things that I had no business doing. But I never really came to terms with it until recently at the in Irvine, California, with the Every Man's Battle.
So you came to Every Man's Battle?
I did, and I learned so much.
That's so good.
I really felt inspired, and I felt like I was a new man, and I was going to come back home and tell my wife what I learned. But when I got back home, she had already filed for divorce because in early January, I was caught being on a fetish website, and I did step out of my marriage, and I wasn't faithful to her. And
so Orlando, let me jump in here, man. What's the question for us? How can we help you today?
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I'm just trying to find some hope. And I know the Bible is where it's at, but I've been attacked from her friends, my wife's friends and her family. That, very, very not supportive words, calling me crazy and insane because I've done this before. This isn't the first time that I said, I'm going to change. I'm going to go to the Lord. I'm going to change. But this time around, I really have conquered the enemy. I really feel that in my heart. My mind and my heart are aligned with walking in the Spirit, and I'm just trying to figure it all out. I got 3 little kids, and they're with me.
Okay, so let me jump in here, man, because this is really critically important. So the first thing I want you to know deeply, and this is not just me talking professionally. This is me talking that I have a very similar experience to you in historical struggles. That overcoming isn't an event, it's a lifelong process. Okay? And so that becomes critically important because we call it taking the cure, which there is no. There's just a process in which we become healthier and holier as we engage deeply in a process. And that process is really, really important. So obviously I want you in sustained victory, the groups afterwards, so that you can stay with men. And this will be really important because as the pain of your actions is affecting other people and they're acting out that pain back towards you, you need a supportive community that understands that both can empathize and keep you accountable, because the most important thing that your kids need right now is a healthy you.
Right.
Yeah. Jim, what do you think?
Well, Orlando, I appreciate that you made a very bold and brave decision 2 months ago, but I don't think you can expect your family and friends and whatnot to come along. They're going to wait and see. And I was even thinking of a scripture in the Bible. Jesus, it's the end of the Sermon on the Mount, and he said, you build your house. You're going to get rain, wind, and storms, whether your house is on a rock or on the sand. And let's be honest, you had been building your house on the sand. You've moved it to the rock. They don't know that. They don't totally trust you because you've said it before. So show them, and earn the right to be heard. Earn the right by being a great father, by taking care of your own soul, by doing what Chris was saying. And guess what? Time, sometimes heals more than anything else. And by you making the decisions, following it up, living the process that you made 2 months ago, and then continuing, I've got news for you. I think a lot of people will look at it, and especially I'm thinking about your kids, and they're going to look at it and say, you know what, my dad was a mess, and now he's good, and look at what he's done, and that's going to be an amazing witness to them. You can change the trajectory of, the negative family behaviors that happened in your life, and that's going to help those kids big time. Be bold. Do what's right. Build your house on that rock, and it doesn't happen overnight. You made an overnight decision 2 months ago. Great. Now show them over that time period.
And Orlando, we can hear that weight in your voice, that coming back with such encouragement and excitement from every man's battle to face divorce papers. That could take anybody out of the fight for sobriety. So I hear in your voice that you truly are engaged in heart and soul change. And I'm going to just give you a gentle warning that piggybacks on what Chris said. The statement of "I really have conquered this time." That statement is a red flag to your wife. Whether or not you made it to her, you have that attitude right now. There's good in it, but there's also some hidden pride in it. Because if we think we're done, no, I did it already, I did it with every man's battle, then we're not holding on to the humility of this is a moment-by-moment fight, perhaps for the rest of my life. And when you have a triumph, like going to every man's battle, I think the enemy doubles down on his attempts to take you back into the problem and to destroy your family. So cling to humility, that I am inadequate in this battle, and I need God and I need other men. Otherwise, I am going to fall again. That humility will help serve you, and it will build trust with your wife, even if she does divorce you.
Right.
So Orlando, stay in the process of recovery. We recover over a lifetime. So I can say definitively today, I have not conquered unhealthy sexuality in my life. I am recovering all the time, as Alice said, moment by moment, because we live in a world where I refer to it as the 3 deadly A's, and this is for everyone out there. 3 deadly A's are this, and this is the deadly A's of pornography. It's accessible, it's affordable, and you can remain anonymous. So if I were to tell a heroin addict, I'm like, okay, here, go get sober, but you have to keep a bag of heroin that's free in your pocket all the time. What are their chances of staying sober, right? So if we have access to technology and the internet 24/7, I mean, this is a moment by moment where we have to protect our hearts. The next thing that I just want to encourage you with is stay engaged in your recovery. If you need to add things in addition to sustained victory, like your local 12-step meetings, SA, SAA, whatever is available to you. But also, I want you to, if you're not doing it, get into therapy. Someone who understands childhood trauma and the impacts of childhood trauma. Because oftentimes, again, some of those things that I was medicating through pornography were pains that I was carrying from my childhood that needed healed out. And so I was really white-knuckling it for a long time, until I engaged in some of those, and then, man, recovery just felt like a tailwind in my sail rather than a headwind once I engaged in a healing process.
And you will prove in your behavior over time, more time than you're comfortable with. You'll prove to your wife and her friends and her family that you really are a changed man, but it won't be with words. It will be with sustained action.
Absolutely. So, Orlando, we're going to send you a couple of resources. We're going to send you the Life Recovery Bible, and we're going to send you something a little bit different than what you may expect. We're going to send you the Emotional Freedom Workbook. And the reason why we're going to send that is because it's to help you work through some of those painful things that you've been carrying in your life. Orlando, thank you so much for calling in. Thank you for taking the steps necessary to address this problem. And that's not easy to do, but you're doing it, and stay on the path. So thank you so much. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Ray in Fresno, California, watching us on YouTube. Ray, are you there?
I am.
What do you have going on today?
Well, I sponsor people through Celebrate Recovery, and one of my ladies called last night for a couple hours with a question, and she's working today, so I told her I would make the call. Her son, she had her son's phone. It's been taken away because his grades have been terrible for the last pretty much semester, I think, but he had it back for a little bit, and so she was looking through his phone, and she saw something that made her think that possibly he had tried marijuana. So she confronted him, like she was very sweet with him, but she said, did you and this child try marijuana? And he said no. Well, it didn't sit right with her for a couple of days, so she went to the store and got a drug test, and it showed up positive in his system. So... And he has ADHD. He has a history with not being truthful. He was adopted. His situation was very messy before he went to their house. His dad is actually his uncle, and mom died of a drug overdose.
Wow.
And there is recovering alcoholism in their home. And so anyways... he's never been able to express his emotions. Just hasn't known how and hasn't been willing to. He's a very sweet kid, but so it turns out that he was using like a CBT vape. Yeah. And so she was trying to figure out where it came from.
Well, here let me jump. Yeah, let me jump in, Ray, because I think we got a really good picture here. What is the question for us that we can help you with?
So the question is, like, once all this stuff comes out and now you're aware of it, and the other kids go to church here with, like, they all go to church together, and sometimes they're out wandering the halls. They're probably going out to vape. We don't know. But, like, what do you do? Like, what boundaries do you set up? They're already doing everything they know how to do to keep him in line. And he's not a bad kid, but, like... Yeah. So, what are the next steps? Yeah,
what do we do? Yeah, what do we do as the adults and the parents? So, Alice, what do you think?
Yeah, Ray, is the father in the picture too? The adopted father?
Yes.
And the recovering alcoholism, is that his current adopted parents?
That is current adopted parents, and there was a very bad relapse last year that involved Dad leaving, buying a different house. Like, just, I'm done with you guys, and then came back into the situation. He's back in recovery. They're doing really well. But
okay, that answers my question. That answers my question, right?
Yeah, there's been plenty of emotional upheaval in the home.
So my recommendation would be that the parents lead with humility, that they have added to the chaos in this kid's life, and that it's actually quite understandable that he would be turning to a substance to feel differently. So lead with empathy and validation. But then I would have them strategize what additional steps they'll be taking. He probably needs to be in therapy for all this chaos that he's been dealing with and the whole family has. I would also have a meeting with the adults, the parents of the other kids that have been using, and one of the pastors at the church, especially a kids pastor, that this should be brought out into the open so that some safeguards can be put into place so these kids aren't wandering around at church and influencing each other in this way.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. Jim, what do you think?
Alice, that was brilliant. I was a youth pastor in another life, and that's exactly the kind of thing you want to do. Now, the fascinating side is what I'm hearing is they do need a plan, and I'm not sure they have a plan together. And so when you're talking about therapy, I wouldn't do it just with him. I would make sure that the mom and the dad are there, and this is mom and dad to him, and so that they develop this plan and then live out the consequences. Tough love isn't being mean, it's allowing the consequences sometimes to happen. But no, you do what Alice said, and then make sure that the parents are involved and they're all on the same page.
Absolutely.
So like family therapy.
Yeah.
Yes, true.
Yeah. So, and Ray, I'll have a few more things to share after the break here, but we're headed to the break, and I just want everyone to know, by joining Club New Life in February, you're going to get this amazing resource, Smart Love, how improving your emotional intelligence transforms your marriage. It is so critically important to know what we feel and express it. This will help you. Join Club New Life, and we'll be right back after this.
My husband was involved with pornography addiction.
He was unfaithful. I called the wedding off. He stepped out on the marriage and ended up having a child.
The Restore Workshop is designed for a woman dealing with a man's sexual addiction issues.
My husband is a recovering sex addict. There were strip clubs, other ladies.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, the Restore Workshop will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Southern California February 25th to the 27th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of the Life Recovery Bible personal size, the 1-year Life Recovery Prayer Devotional, the New Life Journal, a New Life pen and highlighter, and a New Life zipper tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. Again, if you want to give us a call today, 1-800-229-3000. We're going to be in the studio a couple hours today. Myself, Dr. Alice Benton, Jim Burns. Right now we are talking with Ray. Ray, I want to say something that may be a little bit surprising.
Okay.
I'm really impressed that this kid found some pot. Okay.
Well, that's another story.
Okay, now hear me out here. Because what he is dealing with on the inside is absolutely intolerable. And this becomes the petri dish of addiction. Now don't get me wrong. Yeah. There are genetic factors that we have to pay attention to in vulnerabilities. But there's huge environmental factors that put him at unbelievable vulnerabilities. Is that the chaos around him gets on the inside of him, and that is too much for a kid to bear. And so, of course, he has ADHD. And again, that might be, a biological susceptibility, but I see so much ADD driven by trauma and anxiety. And that's just a brain that is unable to focus and is all over the place. And most importantly, trying to get outside of itself because it's too painful to live inside of it. So I say this so strongly because if this kid's behavior gets all of the attention of correction, you are rearranging chairs on the deck of the Titanic. Okay? We got to get to the hole in the boat. Now, don't get me wrong. Please understand, we've got to put a good plan in place to put protections around, again, accessibility and use of marijuana. But that is incomplete if the child isn't able to get into that healing process, as we were saying, through family therapy. But I want to put the onus right now squarely back on the adults. The adults have to get their stuff together. If this kid's going to have a shot, the adults have to really take ownership. We're talking at the break. And Jim, you're sharing about your own story about like, hey, my passion for parenting came from looking at the things in my own life that were off, that needed corrected. Right. And it's going to be really tough to raise healthy children without healthy adults.
Yes.
And Ray, I want to thank you that you've done your own work. You're a sponsor in Celebrate Recovery, and you're helping this family. Girl, we need warriors out there like you that are intervening on their behalf. I'm praying for you, and I thank you that you're in the battle with us.
Can I ask one very little last question?
Of course, go for it.
One of the boys in this group walking around is a friend of mine's son, who I bring to church. And I usually get here 2 hours early because I make food.
Yes.
And he wants to come early every week. He's like, I just like to go shoot hoops. I don't know. I don't know if he is coming early because the kids are coming early and hanging out. Should I talk to his mom? Should I, I don't know how involved to get.
Ask him.
There's the anonymity of all of it, too.
Well, let's go back to what Alice suggested. Is that, hey, this is where we need to get the parents and the youth pastor, the pastors involved to just bring it out in the open and talk about it. And now we're going to set up a plan, boundaries around the behaviors.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so perhaps you're still willing to bring him early with some demonstrations of trust. And ideally, that conversation would be happening with your sponsee and with the mother of this boy that you bring to church.
Well, this is a different boy.
Yeah.
Get his mom in on the conversation, too. Yep.
Yeah.
You know, Chris, I was thinking when you started talking about marijuana, one of the things that we learned so long ago was that when kids take drugs, it makes them feel good.
Yes.
And it works.
Yes.
So here is a boy with ADHD and other issues, and he's not doing that because he's a bad kid.
No.
Ray was saying he's a good kid.
Yes.
But what he's realized is he's figured out how to medicate himself. And so what we've got to figure, what we'd have to, all of our, as listeners, we need to understand that, hey, drugs work. I mean, I'm sorry. I wish they didn't. And we always want to say, oh, they're weak for doing that. But the question becomes, are they doing it because it is helping them? Now, again, there's other ways to do that. I was a kid. When I was 16 years old, I'd become a Christian. And, I had people around me, youth pastors and others who helped guide me in a direction. And I had a conversion experience.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating is I realized I couldn't live life without having to put drugs in my body or other things, and that Christ was going to sustain me. But that's a process that needs to take place. And what you hope for this kid is, okay, he's figured it out, like you said. Congratulations. When you said that, I went, oh, great. But it's so true.
Yeah.
So, and vaping, same kinds of things. I mean, that's going to make him feel better. So he's got to figure out what's the more eternal way of feeling better, not these false things that you're only going to feel better for a short time, and it's going to mess you up. I mean, marijuana is a gateway drug. 81% of kids who smoke marijuana are going to try something deeper, whereas if they don't smoke marijuana, only 20% will try anything. So it's such a major gateway drug. And the same with smoking, vaping. It's a very similar thing. If you're going to vape, you're probably going to try something else.
Well, and anyone out there, what I don't want you to misunderstand me and my feedback to Ray is that I'm endorsing use.
No, of course
If you've heard me long enough, you know that even the use of what we say marijuana today is a misnomer. When we're getting distillates, meaning the concentration of power, the addictive, intoxicating power at 95% in some of the vapes right now versus 2.5% in your Woodstock weed, we're talking about something different. But so we've got to be educated, we've got to engage, but to your point, we've got to understand what problem is being solved, and is there a different, healthier, holier way to solve that problem?
And that's for all of us. We always need to learn that. That's not just for Ray and her friends. That's all of us.
Amen, brother. So we're going to send you a copy of the Life Recovery Bible. We're also going to send you a copy of Understanding and Loving a Person with Substance Abuse. So again, hang with us. We're going to get back to your calls, but we'll get back to them right after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. Chris Williams here. Jim Burns. We have Dr. Alice Benton. And we have the wise one himself.
You can't drum roll yourself?
No, I like it. So we have the illustrious, a wise one, Larry.
Yes.
Larry the Sage Sonnenberg.
You pay these guys,
see what
Larry?
I put up with?
Gee, Larry's my friend. I didn't know he was a sage.
Well, we've got Restore starting in the next week. No, it's 25th. And this is the workshop for women who have suffered betrayal, mostly because it's their husbands who have betrayed them. It could be a boyfriend, a father, an uncle, but your heart is broken. You are feeling a lot of things. We know that women feel shame. We know that they feel responsible. Most of it is really wrong and misguided. And we just want to help the woman's heart. We want to help you ladies to get your heart back. It's very painful what you've gone through, and it's traumatic. And many of you think it's his problem, not mine, and that's misguided thinking. I just got to tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked Alice to read a testimony. They sound a little more authentic coming from a woman than from me.
And girls, I ask you to lean in close for this one. This one's for your hearts. Before coming to this workshop, I had been waiting way too long, 8 years for healing. I was crazy in the head. I had negative thoughts and lies about myself going over and over in my head. This weekend has been like surgery, but tremendously healing. It takes a lot of energy, but it is so worth it. I now have a plan of action to unravel the plans of the enemy. I'm leaving with a healed heart and am trusting the Lord to continue the repair work. Please do not wait as long as I did to come to this workshop. There is no shame in getting help for yourself to heal. And I'm going to add my own thought here that a lot of us believe and hope time will heal this, right? If I just let enough go by, I'll feel better. That's not true at all. It's time with the work, and Restore is the work you need to do.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alice. And women, just call, please, 800-NEW-LIFE. That's 639-5433. And they can tell you about it. And if you call and you get a man that answers, and that makes you uncomfortable, just say, please, I'd like to talk to one of the women on your staff about Restore. We want this to be the most comfortable, easy thing. If money is an issue, if you're thinking, I can't afford, hardly to pay my light bills, let us know that. We have scholarship money. We never want money to be an issue. And then finally, if you're not interested in coming to Restore, but you love New Life, please make a gift. We need to keep doing these workshops and more. We have other workshops on schedule that are new this year, and it takes money to plan those, put them off, put them on, and make things happen. And your support will help. Club New Life is a great way. Just a one-time gift. You can donate stock, whatever you do. It'll be deeply appreciated. And thank you, everybody who has been giving and will give.
And Larry, genuinely, thank you for guiding this ship. Your great care and fidelity to what we do here makes it all possible. And I can say, as being part of this ministry, that we run it lean and mean. We really do. And really mission-driven, but trying to protect our margins. So your money is really, really going directly to helping people and helping the people who help people. So thank you for your contributions. Chris. Thank you, Larry. We're going to go back to the phones. We're going to go to Jill in Sebastian, Florida. Jill, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Excellent. Well, Jill, talk to me today. What's going on?
Okay, so I served my husband divorce papers. He left angry a week before Christmas. He's an avoider. He has left before, but never overnight. And in this case, he left and didn't speak to me on the phone for 6 weeks. Uh-huh. He was angry and blaming and lying and just emailing only with a bunch of trash. And he threatened me with divorce and left me no choice. And
hold on. I got to back this up. So you served him with divorce papers, is that correct?
Yes, because he threatened me in the emails that he was coming home for his belongings and leaving forever, and he would have the police on civil standby, which there was no need, but that's part of his story. And I forget what I was going to say.
That's okay. So
that he was divorcing me, and his attorney would be in contact. So I had to, in defense, get my own. And she kept saying, you need to serve him because he opened up a P.O. box. We wouldn't be able to reach him to serve him. And she said, you guys can work things out later because I never wanted the divorce. Yeah. And so I did that. The day he arrived, which was last Saturday, he came with a U-Haul truck, and he did not bring the police like he said. And they stood by while he loaded up because I called him because I didn't know. He's turned into a different person than what I knew. And we've been married 8 years. I do want to say we had done the intimacy and marriage 5 years ago when we did split because I threw him out because we had a lot of financial turmoil that he brought to the marriage that he didn't tell me about that would come year after year after year, and it just drove us apart. And I said, well, you need to go. We did miss each other incredibly, got back together. We went to the intimacy and marriage. He wouldn't participate when he got there. He just was going, I'm afraid they can hear me. And, just it was a waste of money for him because of what he did. We're also a Club New Life member because I just re-signed up, and he has been watching videos. So, and Saturday he came. He was very surprised that he got served, and I think it, gave him a wake-up call. And
so Jill, what's
his U-Haul truck?
But yeah, I think we got the picture. So what's the question for us?
Okay, then what we did was I said, "Is this really how you want to end it?" When we looked at each other, we stayed and talked for 13 hours straight, no eating, nothing, and we had a very good talk and communication. When we have a plan, we've been talking on the phone for counseling. He is returning the truck to Washington State, where I'm in Florida.
Okay, so hold on.
4,000 miles away.
We got to get to the question because we're going to run out of time.
Okay. I'm all in. He says he's committed. We've been watching the videos in the Club New Life, and he is actually coming forward with some revelations about, oh, yeah, I see myself in this. And yet he feels like he wants to live separate if he returns to Florida.
Jill,
and get counseling.
You got to give us a how or what do I do next? Give us a question like that. So we can serve you.
In 2 days, he'll be there, and I feel like he's going to dump off his belongings, and I feel like he's got 1 foot in and 1 foot out of his desire by not just bringing the stuff back, living locally, getting counseling.
Well, let us jump in.
Do I trust that? Is it my insecurity, my boundary that...
So I just want you to pay attention to this, okay? And I'm going to turn it over to the very wise counsel. Your guys' process, the way you relate to each other, is incredibly chaotic. And just know this, that you both bring your internal chaos, your personal chaos to the marriage. And
yes, we've learned that.
And that's what's causing this reactivity. So I actually say don't get divorced, but I would actually recommend separation. But the separation needs a definitive purpose. It's to stay committed to the relationship, but you guys have got to get into your own personal work to figure out what are the fears and pains that are driving these angry reactions that blow up the relationship over and over again. So, yeah, Jim
That's why we've committed to counseling.
Perfect. So,
yeah, I think the divorce papers, those were a wake-up call for both you and for your husband. Sounds like neither one of you really want this, and so your option is to
no, we don't.
Is to work with somebody who can help you be put back together again. Remember the little story of little children, that we used to say Humpty Dumpty, had a great fall. Well, you've had a great fall, and it sounds like that fall has happened through your marriage. So now it's time to rebuild. I know somebody who had an experience like you, actually a very good friend of mine. 7 months of separation, and one day they said, "Let's give it a try." They had started doing things like dating again, so that they weren't exactly 3,000 miles away, but now it's time to put it back together, rebuild, and you can do that. People do that, and they do that with God's help and God's grace. Yeah. But don't look at the divorce papers as a failure. Look at it as an opportunity.
No, I don't. My attorney pushed me to do that because she said you guys can work out a reconciliation.
Sure. I mean, maybe that's good advice.
It was a protective move against his attack. And Jill, to your question, definitely I want you to trust. I'm going to say something dark. I want you to trust that you're going to get more of the same from him until he's been in therapy for an extended period of time, showing you evidence that he's actually changing. He's made surface attempts before, but it sounds like without deeper character change. So I want you to be cautious. I'm worried about you being all in. I want you to cautiously observe him from a distance to see what kind of man he's going to choose to be with help. He needs the help.
So, Jill, we're going to...
Well, my concern is that he's around a lot of
Hold on, you hear the music. We got to go to a break now. So we're going to send you 2 copies of the Emotional Freedom Workbook. One for you, one for your husband. We'll be right back.
I'm about 100 pounds overweight. I'm 30 years old, and I'm just really discouraged. I'm scared. I don't want to fail again.
Does this sound like your story? It doesn't have to. If you want to live free of obsessions and compulsions in your eating habits, New Life's Lose It for Life Extensive can help. The Extensive features a one-day Zoom session presented by Steve Arterburn on Saturday, March 19th, plus 5 weeks of aftercare that include a weekly group session led by your credentialed New Life Network counselor, 5 on-demand training sessions from Steve Arterburn and fitness expert Michelle Spadafora, 3 30-minute private coaching sessions from a nutrition and fitness coach, the Lose It for Life book and workbook, and exercise gear to allow you to start a home fitness routine you'll actually enjoy. If you're finally ready to stop going from diet to diet and begin a comprehensive plan that addresses the psychological, emotional, and spiritual aspects of a healthy life, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of the Life Recovery Bible personal size, the 1-year Life Recovery Prayer Devotional, the New Life Journal, a New Life pen and highlighter, and a New Life zipper tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live, and thank you for being with us. We're moving into our last segment today. I want to get one more phone call in today. I want to go to Patricia in Blakesley, Pennsylvania. Did I say that right? Blakesley, Pennsylvania?
Yes, you did, sir.
Excellent. So you're listening on WBYN, great station out there for us. So, Patricia, tell us what's going on with you.
I want to know, how do you treat a person that turns against you because you reached out and gave their boss some information to save their son's life from committing suicide?
Oh, boy.
So...
And
this sounds like
is saying that.
So you broke a confidence, even though it may not be an explicit. You know, like someone say, "Hey, you gave away information that was sensitive, that somehow broke trust, but you did it to save a life."
Yes.
And Patricia, can you name the relationship with the parent, the person? Who are they to you in your life?
Oh, they're my cousin. We were very close, grew up together. We know everything about each other, and we used to give out information to help everybody. She give it to me, I give it to her. She would send me information to give to somebody, to stay healthy.
Patricia, this time, how did she react to your actions?
Her actions was very, she didn't want to be bothered. I called her, tried to reconcile, even though I know what I did wasn't wrong. But what I'm thinking is maybe because she's a Christian and it was her boss and she didn't give out any information, and I asked her if we could do it together. She says, I'd rather not. I said, but she told you that her son found something on the internet saying that a person that has Crohn's disease, they're going to live to 24, and he was heading towards 23. So that's what he told his mother, and his mother told my cousin on the job, and she didn't give any scriptures or anything because I asked her. And the thing is, I was going to give her the information where she could give it to her boss. I didn't even have to be involved as long as something was done that this young man could know there's hope for him. But she said, I'd rather not.
So Patricia, did the young man explicitly indicate that he wanted to take his own life?
He told his mother that.
He told his mother that.
And he told his mother, yes.
And is his mother not actually your cousin? They just are coworkers with each other?
Yes, she's not my cousin worked with his mother. His mother is her boss.
And now, the mother's the boss. And now that you shared this information, your cousin isn't talking to you and won't take your calls?
No, she's not. She will not. She stopped texting me for my birthday. I tried to call her, and I gave her scriptures, how we are supposed to help each other according to Matthew and according to Luke, how the Levite passed on one side and the priest passed on one side, and...
So Patricia, the question for us is what do you do now with this relationship?
Yeah, how do I, because I made up my mind because I done tried so many times. I said, Lord, I already tried. I gave her scriptures. She said she doesn't want to be bothered.
Okay.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah, okay. Well, Jim, what do you think?
Well, I think there must be a story behind the story. And, she's, this woman is angry at Patricia for a reason, and partly we got to get behind that. At the same time, she's hurt. What's her feelings? And I think Patricia, I appreciate that she has really tried. I think now she needs to kind of back off a little bit and say, how can we make this better?
Mhm.
Is there something I need to do? And, we can always apologize for some. I've found even in my marriage for 47 years, many times I just need to say, hey, you know what? I am sorry. Where I honestly think it's about 75%, somebody else's, as in my wife's problem. But sometimes I just need to go, you know what? I'm sorry for what I did. And I may need to understand more. What are the issues? And so when Patricia understands some of the issues, maybe she can get inside her cousin's head and say, oh, well, I can see how you felt. I didn't mean it this way. Here was my motive. It was for good, but I apologize for. Yeah. Go ahead, Patricia.
She said I went over her head.
Yeah.
But I consulted her first. I talked to her first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, okay, but I'm like this here. If somebody is going to take their life, we can work together to help this person.
Sure.
If you don't want to do it, what's
Patricia,
wrong? You're Christian.
your motives were all
Yes.
correct. Now, I see two things getting in your way of reconnecting with your cousin. One is that you're quickly defensive. You're quickly justifying why you did what you did. And it's just not the time for that if you want to reconnect to your cousin's heart. It's being a listener to how for her, you did go over her head. For her, you did break a confidence, and don't justify it, even though we all may agree with why you did what you did. You also are giving some shoulds to her through Scripture. And I love your love of Scripture because it's so necessary. It's such a treasure. Sometimes we have to leave Scripture to the side in our conversation and act it out as humble listeners versus reminding our cousin of Scripture and you should do this because the Bible says that you should. That just tends to shut us down. So listen and acknowledge that you did break her confidence without justifying it.
So, Patricia, yeah, these are complicated issues, and I want you to hear that, hear what Alice was saying about, both two things can be true at the same time. She can be hurt, and you could have taken the right action, but you want to move into her hurt first. Yeah. And then look to restore the relationship that way and say, yeah, I see how that could be, that could have been a boundary violation for you, that could have been hurtful for you. And when you're ready, I would love to tell you what my fears were and why I did this, because this boy's life was, or this man's life was really important to me. So Patricia, thank you so much for calling in with this. Thank you for your loving engagement, in your friend's life, in your community. And we just pray that you would continue to engage in that that wonderful path of wisdom. And to that end, we're going to send you a copy of Take Your Life Back. And I think that really kind of helps us understand what's ours, what's not ours, and then sometimes how do we tolerate intolerable situations and relationships. So again, Patricia, we honor you in that and ask that you keep following that path of faithfulness in your life.
You have a big heart, sister. You care about people. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So I was wrong in that area.
Yes, just in that area, and then that way you can move into empathy for her in what her fears and concerns are and hurts are, and then move back into still holding your position of man, if I had to do it, I'd probably do it again. Yeah.
Okay. So I will apologize to her and let her know I was wrong for going over your head.
Yes. And it could sound something like this. I can easily see how going over your head to the boss was hurtful and scary and crossed, outside of my boundaries or what you expected of me. And even saying I don't want you to hear this as a defense, but I just want you to hear this as my heart that's important for you to know when you're ready to, if you're ready to listen. I'd love to tell you why I did that. And I'm not even saying I'm right. I'm just saying I just did this because I felt it was really critical in the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. All right, Patricia, again, thank you for calling in. New Life, family, and friends, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for being with us today. Again, join Club New Life in the month of February. You're going to receive a copy of Smart Love by Dr. David Stoops and Dr. Jan Stoops. And again, thank you for being with us today. We hope that you have a blessed day. Whatever is lovely, whatever is praiseworthy, whatever is good, set your mind and your heart on those things, friends. It'll help you.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.